What's the deal, world? This is TKThaMusician, and today I wanted to start a new series to make some pretty interesting content. I want to start telling some of the stories that I ended up gaining over the grand total of almost 5 years of my 20s that I've been incarcerated. I figured this is a good way for me to relieve some stress, let alone you guys to kind of see what it's like on the inside. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been to multiple jails: Wyandotte County Jail in Kansas City, Kansas; Jackson County Detention Center in Kansas City, Missouri; Gardner Jail in Johnson County, Kansas; and Olathe Jail in Johnson County, Kansas. And I've been to two penitentiaries, which is El Dorado Correctional Facility in El Dorado, Kansas, and yes, it is pronounced Dorado, and Western Reception Diagnostics Correction Center, which is St. Joseph, Missouri's prison, right? So, one story that I wanted to start off with, and this is just like a reality story, is one of the realest incidents that I saw as far as, say, the people who were really on drugs in prison. I chose to stay away from it a lot. Just one thing you learn real quick is that that's a lot of the politics, right? If you move, even if you're social, you know what I mean? People fuck with you, people always talk to you. The biggest things that fuck people over are gambling and the drug game. Right? Those are the easiest ways to rack up debt. Those are the easiest ways to turn around and get into fights. Motherfuckers get paranoid because they think you're lashing them and all types of shit. Okay? And for those of you who don't know what I mean by lashing somebody, that means robbing somebody, stealing from somebody, right? Fucking them over. And so, needless to say, I was at El Dorado, and this was in my first 2 weeks, right? And what happened was, there was a whole bunch of drugs flooded around that prison, right? They had fake Percocet 30s that were these little blue pills that have an M on them, and they're made out of fentanyl. And, there was cheap meth too. I mean, some people, and I'm not going to say names of people, but a small line of methamphetamine could go for the main off of your tray, right? That's usually a $50 line at most penitentiaries, if not more. But the shit was so prevalent that motherfuckers were getting a small line of that shit for the main off of their tray, depending on the particular individual I'd be referring to. And that was a normal deal of his. Like, he just had the shit flooded. So, needless to say, within my first 2 weeks, I was over in G3 before I moved to L House, and G Wing had turned around and moved people around a lot, because that's the wing you first come into when you get to El Dorado. And so my homeboy Savage ended up getting moved to the hole. He ended up getting put in G4, which is right across the way. And I was on top tier. Like, the way El Dorado's set up, you can see across into the next module, and on rec time, because it's 23 and 1 max, you can go over there for a little bit, and they don't mind if you talk through doors and shit, as long as you're not trying to pass something. And low-key, some of the guards are cooler than others. So, needless to say, when Savage got moved out of 3 to 4, which was their version of disciplinary seg in G Unit, we hear Savage screaming out, "Help, help, 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 guard, man down, man down, man down." And if any of y'all know that have been to prison or even jail, the man down code is not to be fucked with. Like, you're not just supposed to do some stupid ass shit and yell it for no reason. And so, all of a sudden, fucking probably 8 to 10 guards just start running up the stairs, and then all of a sudden, here comes like 7 or 8 different nurses. And we end up seeing this dude, I guess later I found out was Savage's new cellie. And these guards are carrying his ass down the stairs stiff as a motherfucking board. Like, dude's got his arms crossed, he's pale as fuck, and, it ends up being like a squirrel almost that got hit by a fucking car. And we were all just kind of like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Just kind of figuring it was what it was, because it wasn't shit to really see ODs there. And so within the first 2 weeks, though, this particular individual, from what we knew and what we were told, later that night, a sergeant by the name of Turner ended up telling us that the guy had passed away at the hospital. And what happened was he had either smoked too much K2, and for those of you who don't know what K2 is supposed to be a synthetic cannabis, right? I've tried this shit personally back in the day. I don't fuck with it. To me, it's nothing like marijuana. So the guy got too much of the shit, and who knows what the fuck it was laced with. Like, pretty well every drug to make it cheap has what we call comeback in it, which is usually fentanyl. And yeah, so within the first 2 weeks, people were already dying off the drugs. And over the course of my time there, I saw so many ODs. Like, it was regular to see a motherfucker fall out. And I don't just mean regularly. I mean, they're on the ground, sitting there writhing back and forth. Fucking medicals having to talk all sweet to them and shit, because they're fucking going through it. They're incoherent. They don't even know where the fuck they are. Let alone you turn around and see the other types of episodes where people are babbling in other fucking languages that you have no idea really what they're saying. And I don't mean other languages as far as like an actual language. I mean like people are fucking making shit up. And they're talking in these like high Mickey Mouse voices, and then they fucking throw up on themselves and wallow around in it. I've seen guards have to have fucking cellmates of people clean the room because they fucking threw up, which shouldn't be a thing, because you're supposed to call the hazard porters. And for those of you who don't know what a porter is, it's like an inmate janitor, if you will. But that's what the fuck happened. And yeah, so believe it or not, this is one of my more mild prison stories. I chose it today for relatability purposes, because a lot of people out there happen to struggle with drug abuse, and I figured that this might be a very relatable story for a lot of people. So we're gonna go ahead and start off there. And as I think of stories to tell, because I'm not gonna lie, my mind definitely tries to trauma block a lot of these, I'm going to continue to make more content on shit like this, and I hope you guys definitely enjoy it. You know, again, it's therapeutic for me, allows me to kind of open up, and it gives you guys a real perspective on what the shit is like. And so with that being said, man, in closing, I love you guys. Y'all be safe, and I will hit you up soon.